Oklahoma State and Texas played a dandy of an opener yesterday, won by the Longhorns in walk-off fashion. They'll conclude their series today with the Big 12 standings now a little bit more in flux at the top. Oklahoma State really needing to sweep today to have any chance of keeping up with OU, with Texas knocking on the door of second place. It is a great day for softball. We're so delighted to have 14 innings for you at least. Kevin Brown, two-time All-American. Amanda Scarborough went 8 innings yesterday with Texas pulling off another walk-off win. This young Longhorns team really starting to hit its stride.
Yeah, and they've played in a lot of close games, a lot of one-run games, and you're starting to see this Texas team fight, especially after losing that game to Kansas last weekend. They came roaring back to win the series, and it ended in Game 3, a walk-off winner off the bat of freshman Reese Atwood, who has been getting hotter as the season has gone on. She's their catcher back behind the plate, does a great job defensively, but her bat has really been picking up, because not only did she have that walk-off win against Kansas in Game 3, she had it last night to the freshman Reese Atwood, stepping up for Texas. 2 back-to-back walk-off wins.
7 straight with an RBI for her. Mac Morgan, 143 pitches, extended her scoreless inning streak to 28. Outdueling Lexi Kilfoyle, who took a no-hitter into the 7th. Normally when you take a no-hitter into the 7th, your team doesn't lose, but Oklahoma State, which started 39-3, has lost 3 in a row, and their offense has just disappeared.
Yeah, and all 3 of those games have been extra inning losses for them too, and it's not been their pitching. They're pitching a 1.72 ERA in those last 5 games with a 2-3 record, but they're just not pushing the runs across. Despite getting runners on with a 257 batting average, they're only hitting 156 with runners in scoring position and have left a staggering 36 on base.
So in part because of that, Kenny Gajewski's rejiggered the lineup a little bit today, with Caitlin Carwile batting higher than 5th for the first time all season. She's hitting 2nd off to a very good start in conference play. Good to see Cheyenne Factor back in there after leaving the game yesterday after being hit by a pitch. She drops into the 6th spot. Texas going to turn to a freshman today in the circle. Citlali Gutierrez out of Stamford, Texas. 2nd behind Matt Morgan on the team in ERA, and very impressive for a freshman, does not walk many.
Yeah, and she's had solid numbers, 1.88 ERA. Just has to work through some nerves early in the game.
Gutierrez is going to face Rachel Becker to kick off game 2 of 3. And Becker drops down a foul bunt. Our first pitch, 12:02 Central here in Austin, Texas. And again, it is a spectacular day. The weather's 73 degrees and sunny. Or as they say in the stat broadcast of Texas, weather, not a cloud in the sky yet. Let's keep those clouds away for today. Becker, the All-American, reached base with a hit in her last at-bat yesterday, keeping alive 2 notable streaks, a 21-game hit streak, and now a 45-game on-base streak. She has reached base every one of Oklahoma State's 45 games in her first and only year in Stillwater.
Such a tough out. Loved watching her play second base defensively yesterday too. Just an absolute rock star at the top of the lineup for Oklahoma State. Always finds a way to get on base. Really good eye at the plate, really long at bat, sees a lot of pitches. Your prototypical leadoff hitter, really.
Becker drives it out of play for strike 2. It's an Oklahoma State team 39-6, 8-2 in the Big 12. We talked to Kenny Gajewski before the loss yesterday, and he said you forget the journey at times when you're in the moment. We've been playing poor offensively, but this is still a really good team. They are still ranked 3rd in the country, but a solid non-conference schedule. Trying to get back to the World Series for a 4th straight year. Becker down swinging, and what a start for Gutierrez, blowing away one of the nation's best hitters.
Yeah, not looking nervous whatsoever with this pitch here, getting Rachel Becker to expand her zone off the plate. Citlali Gutierrez throws hard, mid to upper 60s is the velocity that she'll throw at. You'll see an off-speed curveball that's very unique to her tools, and a rise ball and drop ball, so she'll work north and south and mix in that off-speed curveball.
There's the junior Caitlin Carwile to take ball 1. Carlisle reached base twice yesterday, base hit and a walk, and she moves to the 2 spot after an all Big 12 season a year ago, second team pick. That's outside. Troy Kendall, the plate umpire tonight. Brendan Blooms at first. Bradley C. Newton is the umpire at third. They're the Big 12 numbers for Carlisle, who has also walked 6 times without a strikeout in conference play. Junior from Purcell, Oklahoma. And a ground ball to short. Vivi Martinez makes the play. First ground out of this game after we saw a combined 30 spun by Mac Morgan and Lexi Kilfoyle yesterday.
Yeah, a couple of drop ball pitchers in that game with Kilfoyle and Mac Morgan. Just rolled a lot of ground balls. Infield was all over the place.
Here's Kylie Naomi. Senior shortstop having an all-American kind of season for Oklahoma State. Had a tremendous year as a junior, a massive drop-off last season. Just struggled at the plate all year, and she's had the best numbers of her career so far this season. 250th career game, 250th career start, 43 home runs, 70 career steals. Kylie Naomi is going to go down as one of the great players in this program history. Try to cap that off by bringing Oklahoma State a little bit further this season. Made it to the semis last year before, of course, they lost 2 games to Texas.
Yeah, this is an experienced Oklahoma State team. A lot of seniors in their starting lineup who have been to multiple Women's College World Series. And a lot of super regionals as well, which is always good to have on your team, to have that experience deep into the postseason.
Just missed the outside corner, 3-1. Last season, it was a nightmare at the plate for Naomi. Just couldn't get her timing right. Kenny Gajewski said, got to quit trying to get hits, just take good at-bats. Finally, things changed this year. A new hitting coach in Whitney Clore. That's beaten into the ground to shortstop. Martinez continues her stellar weekend in the field. We're going to see Kelly Maxwell, the All-American, take the hill for Oklahoma State next.
Kelly Maxwell getting the start today for Oklahoma State, the senior and the All-American from Friendswood, Texas, a 1.43 ERA on the season and a 13-1 record. One of the best strikeout pitchers in the country, the best swing and miss stuff in the country. Over 10 strikeouts per 7 innings in her career, and a 41% whiff rate that leads Division I. Nobody gets more swing and misses than Kelly Maxwell, who's getting the start today in the circle for Oklahoma State.
That's her 2-strike batting average. The D1 average, 132 points higher. The whiff rate more than doubles. These are some robust numbers for a left-hander who has been one of the dominant forces in college softball for the last couple of seasons. And she's going to start with Mia Scott. Scott lays down a butt. It's a dandy. Scott is safe. But hold on a second. Troy Kuykendall, I think, is going to bring Scott back to the plate. Wondering, did the ball hit her in the box? Was it ruled dead? Let's take a look. Can't tell from there.
I think it might have just grazed her. It was Brandon Bloom, the first base umpire, that looked like he was the one potentially that called it, or was it Kuykendall back behind the plate?
They both had their hands up, so I'm not sure who made the initial call.
Yeah, I think it just right there. I think it grazed just barely off of her. I think ever so slightly it hit her, because you see the spin off of the bounce is a little bit tighter. It grazes off of her and it slows down the spin.
So it'll be a strike, not a reviewable play. And 0-1 to Scott.
I mean, the bunt is picture perfect for Mia Scott. That just barely kept her off the base pass, but that's what she's capable of at the plate, to lay that down and to hit for a little bit of power, gap-to-gap power, so much speed.
9-game hit streak for the sophomore Scott. Here's the Texas Longhorn lineup into the weekend, 13th in Division I, 6.6 runs per game. The freshman came through again yesterday, 3 of the 4 hits. About 45% of the team's offense this season coming from Texas's freshmen. Kelly Maxwell pitching for the first time against Texas since the final semi in the World Series last year. A game that, of course, if you're a Texas fan, you'll never forget. And if you're an Oklahoma State fan, for different reasons, you'll never forget. 5-0 lead. Kelly Maxwell in the circle. 12 outs to go, and Texas would score 6 unanswered. One of the most shocking comebacks maybe ever at the World Series, given the quality of the pitcher. Maxwell walks Scott. Texas has the leadoff runner on.
Such a good at-bat right there, a very confident at-bat by Mia Scott, who of course is hit off of Kelly Maxwell last year, and some important, you see her communicating right now about her rise ball, kind of motioning her hand up. That's what Kelly Maxwell is going to throw, is that rise ball to all quadrants. She can throw it low side to side, she can expand the zone with it, but she'll also mix down with her drop ball and her changeup.
There goes Scott. Throw down from Tuck. Is it time? Scott is out at second. Texas immediately calls for a review.
I thought live that she was safe, so I'll be interested to see this in slow motion. Maybe she got her. Maybe that was a great call. Live, it looked like her hand got there before the tag. Oh, but just Rachel Becker doing Rachel Becker things. I mean, gets the ball, immediately puts the tag down, covering from second base. I think this call is going to stand. I think she is out. I mean, what can't Rachel Becker do? I know that seems like a small thing, but I thought Mia Scott was for sure going to be safe. And somehow Rachel Becker has such quick hands, receives the ball, boom, immediately goes down for the tag.
Umpires are reviewing back behind Ivy Rosenberry, who's soft tossing. Here's the throw from Tuck one more time. The call on the field is out.
She's out. It's a great tag.
Looked like Bradley C. Newton, the third base umpire at second, may have gotten this one right on a bang-bang play.
I mean, what a great call.
It's very close, but as is always the case with reviews, you need indisputable video evidence to overturn what we see on the field.
Yeah, there's no chance.
Well, Scott is Texas's leading base stealer, 15 for 18 before that attempt. And here comes the verdict. And she's out. Tuck to Becker, connecting for the first out for Oklahoma State, as Texas's leading base stealer, Scott, is caught at second. And that erases the bases for Vivi Martinez.
Left-handed hitters against Kelly Maxwell, who of course is a lefty, so a lefty on lefty matchup, just hitting 113 on the season off of her.
And Texas has 5 lefties in the lineup. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9 hitters. So once you get to Maloney in the 7th spot, it's going to be 5 left-handers in a row in the wraparound. See the numbers for Texas on the season. They're very good against lefties, but this is a different kind of lefty.
Yeah, it makes for an interesting matchup, doesn't it? To see Texas's average against left-handed pitchers and get to face. Kelly Maxwell is not just one of the best pitchers in the Big 12, not just one of the best pitchers in the country. She's one of the best pitchers in the world, one of the best left-handed pitchers in the world.
Here's Becker again, the second baseman. A routine play for route number 2. Tell us about one of those best pitchers in the world, Amanda.
Yeah, I just cannot say enough good things about Kelly Maxwell. She'll throw her rise ball on different levels on both sides of the plate. We'll mix in down in the zone 2, a drop ball and a changeup that tunnel very well together. She is a strikeout pitcher, undoubtedly. It's very tough to barrel her up.
Only starting for the 2nd time in 9 games for Oklahoma State. And she misses to Leanne Good. They've tried to limit Maxwell's innings this year, getting her ready to be rested for the postseason if things go well. Good, the freshman, having a fantastic season. First in college, started all 48 games. 14 doubles, 3 triples lead the Longhorns. 7 home runs are tied for 2nd most on the Texas team. What a great start she got off to. Whenever you're on the page with Janae Jefferson, you're in elite company. Foul tip for a strike.
And you think about, too, how young Texas is. So many freshmen that are just facing her for the first time, despite these 2 teams having so much history between each other past couple years. So you're going to see some big hacks. I mean, you face Martinez, Good, and Atwood, 3 freshmen in a row, getting their first look off of one of the best pitchers in the country.
Two.
I will say, Leanne Good can handle the up pitch well. Several of her home runs have been at rise balls that have been at the letters or even higher, that she just tomahawks them out of here. Has power on pitches that have been up. Look to see Kelly Maxwell go down here.
Try to do that. Good stays alive.
She'll mix in her changeup and her drop ball look very similar. They'll both go down, they'll both drop, but it's just one pulls off a speed more than the other one. Her drop ball coming in at 67, 68 miles an hour. Her changeup several miles an hour less than that.
Last year's Big 12 co-pitcher of the year. Maxwell goes way up the ladder to get Good, her first strikeout. And thanks to the caught stealing, Maxwell faces the minimum. Would you look at that, a scoreless inning?
That's where you have to put it, too, to stay away from Leanne Good, expand the zone that much, and Maxwell is more than capable.
A Corona and palm trees.
A Corona and calm sea.
Ball is brought to you by Whataburger, the one-of-a-kind honey barbecue chicken strip sandwich, served hot and fresh.
Little Kamal Street block party going on today. In between the baseball and softball games, baseball, softball double headers today. Texas, Oklahoma across the street. Got the Big Bertha machine in the house, local brews. Amanda will be hitting up the Big Bertha truck in between games. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, I saw a little taco truck over there, too, that I might be hitting up in between games. I'm already hungry.
Probably not good if you're already hungry. 'cause
Yeah,
there-
not
there's
good.
a
Yeah, I
lot
was
of,
thinking about that
softball
about an
left.
hour ago. Yeah.
That right there, folks, from Amanda, that's what we call a coded message to the runner, part of our crew.
Oh, man.
What smoothie flavor would you like? You want to just get that out of the way now, too?
That sounds good, too.
Morgan Wynn leading off in the second. Oklahoma State with 4, 5, and 6 against Citlali Gutierrez. Wynn had a base hit yesterday, a 6-game hit streak for her, 9 for 22 in that span. 3 extra base hits, driven in 6. Grad student from Concord, California. It was Mac Morgan yesterday. It is Gutierrez in the circle for Texas today. Out of Stamford, Texas. Very small school.
And she has really electric stuff, too. Coach White and Steve Singleton, the Texas hitting coach, talk very highly about her pitches, movement, the spin, throws with good velocity, really has all the tools. Just a matter of getting her experience, getting her confident to throw in these big games.
On the ground to second, Leanne Good. And Wynn is retired. Gutierrez had a dominant high school career pitching for a very small school, Stanford, which is in Class 2A, one of the smaller classifications in Texas. And she did everything in high school, particularly excelled at softball. Faced the freshman Michaela Wark. Wark 0 for 3 yesterday. Snapped a streak of 15 straight on base. Nearly 1,000 OPS as a freshman. There's a good piece in Texas BVMsports.com. Adam Cradle wrote about Gutierrez. Cynthia Herrera, who is the head coach, said she heard about Citlali when Citlali was cheerleading, and she broke her ankle as a cheerleader, and said people were like, yeah, that's your starting pitcher. And I'm like, what? She's a cheerleader. That's rolled over to first, and Simmons. She was a cheerleader. She was a track and field athlete. She was a basketball player. She reached the state tournament as a tennis player as a senior. But this is where Citlali Gutierrez has excelled for a long, long time.
And the circle where she feels most likely most at home.
Four straight groundouts induced by Gutierrez. Here's Cheyenne Factor.
And so you think about how young Texas is. I mean, up the middle of the field, there's nobody older than a sophomore. In fact, 5 of them are freshmen. Actually, 4 of them are freshmen. So up the middle, Martinez and Good, and then Gutierrez in the circle, Atwood back behind the plate. Mia Scott's a sophomore in center.
And a sophomore who played a lot of third base this year, too.
Right, yeah.
What is it about this team and this program where the freshmen just don't seem like freshmen? They have such maturity.
Good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. They recruit very well. Mike White was excited about this group, and even more excited, or equally excited, because I don't want to slight this group, but about next year's class.
Made it to the championship series last year with Janae Jefferson, one of the great players in Texas history, Mary Iacopo, Haley Dolcini, who's now a grad assistant. It's not a full roster makeover, but a good portion of the roster had to be retooled.
In key positions, too.
And there is not a senior in the lineup for Texas today. The only one yesterday was Lou Gilbert. Alyssa Popelka, a junior, is in left field for game 1. Despite all the youth, look at the record, look at the ranking. They're doing a lot right. 3-2 for Factor.
It's a really big shift on that they've played Factor. You can't hardly see Alyssa Popelka, the left fielder. There she is. She's in left center field. Mia Scott is now kind of shaded toward right center, and then Maloney right out on the right field line. Big shift on toward the right side.
Gutierrez's payoff. Hit to third. Corona down on the knee. Makes a good throw. 5 ground outs in a row, and yesterday's hero, Reese Atwood, will lead us off in the bottom of the second.
And I remember
Dayton through the right side. Ball bobbled. Dayton around third. Absolutely unfathomable. The Texas Longhorns into the national championship. That was the last Oklahoma State-Texas game before yesterday. More high drama between the Horns and Cowgirls as Reese Atwood's walk-off single won it in the 8th. You have Texas, which was down 5-0 in that decisive semifinal game last year, came back to win 6-5. Yesterday, they don't have a hit until the 7th. They win the game, and all of a sudden, Mike White's Longhorns have Kenny Gajewski's Cowgirls number. Now the tables turn quickly in this sport. Reese Atwood behind a rise ball from Kelly Maxwell. It was 1-10, but a lot of close losses. Games that could have gone either way in the Big 12 tournament. A couple of years ago, Oklahoma State had a walk-off win. Beat Texas in the Big 12 tournament again last year. That was one of the defining moments of the season for Texas, actually, because they lost to Oklahoma State in the Big 12 tournament. And Mike White was ejected from that game, arguing a call. The old double bird was the gesture that got him run. And Mike was a little more chill after that. Atwood down swinging. There's a strikeout. That's 2 for Kelly Maxwell.
Well, and I think, too, Kenny Gajewski has had a lot of success against Mike White in his head coaching career and coaching against him in the Big 12. And Coach White even told us, you know, they've had her number the past 4 or 5 years. Like, Texas had lost quite a few games to Oklahoma State and Kenny Gajewski, both semi-new head coaches taking over the program and doing big things with them.
Strike 1 to Courtney Day. Mike White, Kenny Gajewski. Mike beat him twice at Oregon. Kenny, again, has had the upper hand in the rivalry, 13 out of 18, but it's the 2 on a Monday night in June last year that particularly sting. It was interesting to watch Texas throughout the postseason. And Mike even referenced this, you know, that the ejection, the gesture, and the frustration. From that point on, said, I would have to say I learned from my history. He was a little calmer, a little less bombastic. Felt like Texas took that personality. I mean, they had big personalities last year, but there was a coolness to Texas throughout that whole postseason run.
Yeah, there was. He just kind of took a step back, and they took off, really. I mean, that seems like what happened starting in Seattle after the Big 12 tournament.
Courtney Day with that home run against Maxwell. Strikes out here. So now 7 at-bats career against Kelly Maxwell. 1 home run and then 6 strikeouts.
That's right, yeah. And getting a lot of swing and misses. This is a setup pitch to Courtney Day. A rise ball more over the heart of the plate, and then this strikeout pitch moves it a little bit more outside. So that, even though despite it being low in the zone, I think to an average viewer you might be thinking, are you sure that's a rise ball? I'm used to seeing rise ball about letters high or eye high. But that's her ability to put that rise ball. That's it again. She can put that pitch in any quadrant of the strike zone. That nobody else really in the country, very few pitchers in the world can throw a rise ball the way that Kelly Maxwell does.
Katie Simmons, the batter. How does she throw it like that?
She works on it constantly, on the spin of it, to be able to get that true backwards rotation that spins truly. And she takes so much pride in her preparation to consistently throw that pitch to each quadrant and keep going until she gets it right. Wow.
Maxwell with a monstrous second, 3 swinging strikeouts against the middle of the Texas order.
She is a joy to watch pitch, no matter if it's in the sun, under the lights. Her rise ball is unbelievable. Kelly Maxwell strikes out the side.
Since 2019, the Big 12 has been the epicenter of power in the sport. Oklahoma, back-to-back national champions, raising the bar for what's possible in college softball. And Oklahoma State, their Bedlam rivals, the Big 12 tournament title winners a season ago. 3 straight trips to the World Series. Texas, 3 straight super regionals. The dramatic run to the World Series last year where they made the Champ Series for the first time before falling to Oklahoma. Top 10 of the RPI, 1 and 3, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State as of this weekend. That does not include yesterday's results, with Texas knocking on the door at 12. Louisiana lost to Troy yesterday, so chance for Texas with a series win to get back into the top 10. There's Talon Edwards looping one into right field, and the first base hit for Oklahoma State today comes from Talon Edwards.
You think of the success of the Big 12, and really it's at the top with the Big 3 of Texas, Oklahoma State, and of course Oklahoma. And the Big 12, I mean, you think about those top 3 teams easily can be in the top 10 at any time, top 5 at any time, and that's just how strong they've been. And it's been since 2017, Kevin, that a SEC team has played in the champ finals. Of course, the Big 12 having quite a few appearances.
Taylor Tuck with a bunt. Play was made by the first baseman Simmons. Camille Corona tried to make a diving catch, so that will go down as a 5-3-4 sacrifice.
Sitlali can throw upspin in a bunt situation, and Tuck gets the bottom half of the ball. Good effort by Corona. Still getting out. Reminds me of that Jesse Warren play in the Women's College World Series for Florida State. One of the greatest plays ever. The World Series.
So runner at second, and a strike to Megan Bloodworth. I don't know if I've ever seen a 5-3-4 play before.
Yeah, I was glad that you told me that, because I was just about to write it down, and it just made me not really think about it too hard, so I could just listen to what you said and write it in. It was great.
You're welcome. That's lofted to the shortstop Martinez. Bloodworth is retired as Edwards scampers back.
So this is that off-speed curveball that I mentioned that Sitlali Gutierrez will throw, a very unique pitch to her toolbox. 62 miles an hour. That is a curveball that is spinning away. It gets a couple of hitters that we've seen in this game to miss-hit pitches more toward the end of their bat. Not great contact, a big out there for the freshman.
Time called Mike White to the circle. So how do you throw an off-speed curveball? How do you take what Gutierrez does, what most pitchers do, as a curveball, and make it off-speed?
So it's kind of, I'm trying to think about how to phrase this in like a really elementary way. She just puts more emphasis through her whip on her release to almost whip the ball instead of power the ball through her release, and it just creates more spin that just kind of floats in. So it takes a lot of fingertips, a lot of wrist to create that spin. It's all about your body positioning at the end of it to be able to pull off a few miles an hour. Actually, they're trying to work on a harder curveball for her where she can throw that in 2 different speeds, but right now she just has the off speed.
Already such great tools for a freshman. Big spot here, runner at second, 2 down, and Rachel Becker came into the weekend 3rd in the nation in on-base percentage. Becker struck out swinging to lead off the game.
This is where I feel like it could really play a part in moving Caitlin Carwile up to the 2 spot, because it gives Rachel Becker even more protection, to where now you might pitch around her a little bit with first base open, and it's still, don't think she's going to get anything good to hit. But now with Caitlin Carwile on deck, who's hitting .500 in conference play, if they do pitch around her, she's more likely to make them pay for it.
And Becker, who as you just saw is hitting .538 with runners in scoring position, has not had anything to hit so far. And now I think Texas is going to go ahead and put her on. That's an intentional ball 4. So the first 3 were technically unintentional, and then Becker is walked, so she reaches base now for the 46th consecutive game, and that brings her within 2 of the Oklahoma State record. Well, here's Carwile, the new number 2 hitter, already thrust into the spotlight. Last 5 for Oklahoma State, 156 with runners in scoring position, 210 with runners on. And in the last 3 games, all losses, they've scored a total of 3 runs. Strike 1 to Carwile.
Yeah, and their last 23 innings, they've only scored 1 run.
None yesterday in 8. At some point, they're going to shatter the glass. When will it be? Ball 2 to Carwile.
Well, you know Kenny Gajewski wants it to be right now. This is why he moved Caitlin Carwile up, to see more moments like this, to hit behind Rachel Becker to give her protection.
Edwards, Becker, the runners with 2 down. That's off the plate for ball 3. And a big bat on deck. The freshman Gutierrez and a 3-1 to Carwile. And Carwile knocks it back to the screen.
Tells Sitlali just working Carwile on the outside corner over and over again. Left-handed hitters hit about 60 points higher off of Sitlali than righties.
This will be a 3-2 with 2 down. And a ground ball will stick through the right side. Here comes Edwards. Oklahoma State finally breaks through. Took them until the 11th inning of the series. But it's Caitlin Carwile, newly minted in the number 2 spot, to give the Cowgirls the lead.
This is why they moved her up. Been throwing her on the outside corner her entire at bat, still gets around it a little bit, doesn't square it up exactly, but hits it hard enough to get it through the right side past Leanne Good, who was playing more up the middle of the field. Pretty easily scored Talon Edwards, and you could see the emotion from the freshman and Carwile with the RBI for the go-ahead run.
Here's Naomi. Boy, it is one run that feels like about 100 runs, given the dearth of offense in the last few for Oklahoma State. And when they score first, they are elite.
Been playing in all of these low-scoring games. So many left on base. I'm sure it feels Such a relief for Kelly Maxwell and the dugout, for Kenny Gajewski, for this team to hope that that hit can spark some more hits and be contagious.
Well, Naomi chases one well off the plate, though. A strikeout, strands two, but Oklahoma State finally scores one. It's Caitlin Carwile to bring in the freshman Talon Edwards. Major celebrations in game two for OSU.
The Kelly Maxwell rise ball is working so far in this game, being able to locate that pitch at different levels, outside to righties, expand the zone, up at their eyes. She can place that pitch wherever she wants to. The last 4 hitters that she has faced have all struck out on rise balls. And in this game, she has gotten 10 swing and misses from 19 strikes at this point.
Kenny Gajewski told us during the week her spin is getting better every week. Not as many swings and misses on her stuff down right now, but the rise ball continues to excel. Strike one to Ashton Maloney. Maloney had a hit to lead off the 8th inning, or with 1 out in the 8th inning yesterday, to lead off the rally that led to the game-winning run. 2nd on the team in batting average. He's played in every game but 1. And a dribbler left side. Naomi deep in the hole makes the play.
Maloney has some good speed too, and it takes a veteran shortstop like Kylie Naomi who gets rid of the ball so quickly. That ball took her fairly deep into the hole, so she knew that she would have to grab it, transfer it to her bare hand, and get rid of it.
Well, no Alyssa Washington again today for Texas. Out with an injury after sliding into a base last weekend. They expect her back before postseason. So it's Camille Corona starting again at 3rd, taking strike one from Maxwell. Mike White has praised Corona for being mature, a great role player for them. Only 10 at-bats last year, but a career .388 hitter, .419 on base into the weekend. There's another bunt. Maxwell to it quickly, and that throw is in time.
I mean, she even fields her position so flawlessly, so smoothly too. Took her time to make that play, and this is a challenging play for a left-handed pitcher. And I'll tell you what makes it more challenging is who's covering first base to make this catch. And look at the arm angle that she throws this from, more side arm, and that is sole purpose to show the ball to her first baseman, not hide it with a throw that's over the top, to make it easier for that first baseman to catch it.
Seven in a row retired since the leadoff walk by Scott, who was then caught stealing. And Alyssa Popelka, the last Longhorn starter to hit. Junior from right here in Austin, having a fine year as a part-time starter. Popelka tries to bunt as well. I mean, gives you a sense of how Texas feels they have to beat Kelly Maxwell. 4 of the 9 hitters have tried to bunt their way on. Kelly Maxwell, no home runs allowed in her last 37 2/3 innings coming into the 3rd. That's 9 games plus today.
You know, one of the first things, though, that I noticed about Texas early on this year is their speed and their athleticism. It was something that back in February when I watched them play, I just noticed it right away. And they like their short game. They like creating havoc, using the short game to get on base, use their speed. Big part of their offense.
Batting average is .334 as a team, which would be second in program history. 43 home runs, 47 games. They have some power, but not huge power. That's a strike, 3-2.
Kelly Maxwell getting back into this count, and boy, lefty on lefty matchup with 2 strikes, left-handed hitters. I think just .071 against her.
Might be 070 now. Maxwell fields her position. She hasn't allowed a hit through 3. We'll chat with Mike White on the other side. Top of the 4th inning here in Austin. Texas head coach Mike White joins us now after his team's 1-0 win yesterday. And Mike, you turn to the freshman Citlali Gutierrez, another strong start for her in the circle. What do you like about Citlali and her evolution over the course of this year?
Well, that's it. It's just an evolution. She just keeps learning and wanting to know how to do more stuff. And, you know, I can't give it to her fast enough, really. It's, you know, she's doing a great job. We're getting her, you know, we started off the year just getting her in slowly, and now we're giving her more starts.
Yeah, coach facing some tough pitchers back-to-back games here for Oklahoma State. What's the message to the hitters right now?
We just got to keep battling, you know, she's tough. I mean, we know that, and we've been practicing it all week, and we just got to make those adjustments. I think we made a little better job the last inning, so just got to keep putting the ball in play and see what we can do.
Mike, appreciate the time.
Hey,
Good luck
happy
the rest of the
Coaches
game.
Day, by the way. Welcome.
Happy Coaches Day, yeah, to you as well. I didn't know it was Coaches Day. I just learned something from Mike White.
I didn't know either.
You're a coach of sorts, so happy Coaches Day to you.
Thank you.
Saw Mike, by the way, wearing that Alex shirt. It's the day where a lot of teams across the nation honor Alex Wilcox, former Mississippi State player who passed away from ovarian cancer 5 years ago. Her fight, her battle inspired a whole lot of folks, and that message received well beyond just the SEC in Starkville. And Texas and the team celebrating her today. You'll see some of the ribbons, the t-shirt from Mike White. Longhorns down 1-0 as we start the 4th. Middle of the order for Oklahoma State against Citlali Gutierrez. Win, work, and factor all grounded out in the 2nd.
Yeah, and what's so great about Gutierrez is her ability to split the zone with her rise ball and drop ball. You're starting to see that more across the country too. Just coaches trying to recruit pitchers that can throw both a rise ball and drop ball to go against the swing plane of a hitter.
Skied out to right, and Maloney. First fly out of the game for either team.
I haven't seen a lot of balls in the air. There's been a ton of ground ball outs past couple of games.
At 30 ground outs yesterday, 10 today. So we're at 40 ground outs in the series. I think you hit a ball in the air, you should get like a third of a run in this series.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You also mentioned it might be a good idea for this series to bring in the fences a little bit because those fly balls have gone about 170, 180.
Not that there's anything wrong with a great pitcher's duel, and we had one yesterday, and maybe we're on the way to one today. Michaela Wart had her 15-game on base streak snapped last night. Texas native, Frisco kid, was at Kansas last year. Redshirted last season at Kansas, and this is a portion of the lineup with win and work, featuring 2 former Jayhawks. They also have the same initials. Coincidence? Kenny Gajewski hoping that moving work a little bit down in the lineup in light of fire under her. Cleanup hitter most of the year. That's to the right side, and that's popped out to good.
Just in this series, you've seen so much weak contact. It seems like pitchers have done a good job of stepping up, and the hitters have really lacked making adjustments and getting their barrel to these pitches.
What adjustments do you think are out there that Oklahoma State still has yet to make?
Let's either get their barrel more out in front. Seems like they're letting these pitches get deep, can't just hit with a lot of power in that deep position. Also causing quite a few opposite field hits, which nothing wrong with that, but haven't seen a lot of extra base hits, right? Have we seen?
We've seen zero.
Zero today, zero in the past 2 games. Yeah.
We've seen 12 hits in the series, all singles. Left side, there's a one-base hit for Cheyenne Factor with 2 down.
Happy to see her in the starting lineup after getting hit by that pitch. This pitch is out over the plate. And this to me is an example too. I mean, that was pretty hard hit. You know, it sneaks past Martinez, but to me, that's a pitch that should be barreled up to the gap. Pitch that missed over the hard plate, a little bit up in the zone, and yeah, it'll take a single and put her on first, but it just seems a little off.
Reese Atwood wants time to talk to Gutierrez after ball 1 to Talon Edwards. And the first hit of the game for Oklahoma State. Very good freshman. Kenny Gajewski will join us when we head to break after this inning for the bottom of the 4th. Kenny Gajewski, who called Talon Edwards March last year and said, how do you feel about graduating early? Scott Wright and the Oklahoman wrote a great piece about that. Said Talon's immediate quote was, that's not a softball thing. Softball players really don't do that. She decided to do it, get here early. Classwork to do that. It took an extraordinary amount of work for Talon. Took 7 classes last summer. Most online, couple in person. Made it on campus in the fall at Stillwater. So again, she should be a high school senior.
Now we mentioned Kenley Cahalan for Alabama, the starting shortstop for them, is also in that same boat, should be still in high school at this point. And then Arizona has a pitcher who graduated early too. So this is becoming more of a thing. It really is.
Edwards smacks it up the middle. Not bad for a high school senior. Talon Edwards 2 for 2.
This is one of the best hit balls that we've seen from both teams. Line drive right back up the middle, a pitch that is just left belt high and a good pitch to hit. Talon Edwards is looking for that pitch out over the plate.
2 hits in the series for Edwards. That will bring Mike White to the mound. Second visit of this inning. Atwood came to the circle after ball 1 to Edwards. Now it's White with Taylor Tuck coming up. I've seen Oklahoma State put together a couple of rallies now these last 2 innings. Finally broke through In the third inning yesterday, or third inning, an inning ago, intentional walk to Becker. Carwile with an RBI single. Edwards with a base hit with a runner on base here. Remember the struggles though, 5 for 32 in the last 5 with runners in scoring position. Stillwater native Taylor Tuck with 2 down.
Sophia Simpson warming up too in the Texas bullpen. Interested to see when he puts her in. If maybe it gets to the top of the lineup for Oklahoma State, would be the 3rd time through. Potentially see a pitching change starting to get on her a little bit more.
Here is their sophomore Simpson. Tuck, the graduate student, 103rd career game.
Oh, man.
I mean, that was called a ball at the plate.
I thought there were 2 different chances, a called strike and then to get this on the check swing. She did hold back. But man, that was a good pitch. Fooled her with that off-speed pitch who's out in front.
So 2-1 instead of 1-2. And now Tuck chases.
She shows you that there's no way you should bring this next pitch on the plate. A couple of not confident swings, that check swing, not seeing the ball well out of the hand, and then that swing right there just chasing well out of the zone. Do not bring her anything close.
Another check at third, no swing again.
I'll tell you what, Taylor Tuck just does a really nice check swing in the sense that her hands go way out in front, but she is able to keep her barrel back. It fools the crowd completely, but really, I mean, I guess that one might be a little bit closer, but pulls that barrel back quickly.
3-2 with 2 down and 2 on in the 4th. We'll do it again. Taylor Tuck, a .329 on base percentage. Only 8 knocked in on the year. Known more for her defense. Trying to pick up a big hit or a big base here, and she'll pop it up. Corona, the third baseman, fighting the sun, and she lost it in the sky.
Missed opportunity here, playing on your home field. You know where the sun is. You should practice this quite a bit and just can't come away with an out. Huge missed opportunity to get out of this inning for Texas.
Tuck given another chance. And she'll make the most of it. Another hold up on a check swing, and one pitch after the foul ball falls in, Tuck works a walk to load the bases.
So unfortunate if you are Mike White and Texas. Got to be kicking yourself right there, because Taylor Tuck just pretty much had herself struck out a couple of times. If you could just even make a slightly closer pitch than that 3-2 rise ball that was well out of the zone, I think you have her struck out.
Kenny Gajewski is going to send up a pinch hitter here. It'll be Katie Lott for Megan Bloodworth, based on what we just heard Troy Kuykendall say. And here comes Katie Lott out of the OSU dugout.
I like how you eavesdrop on the umpires a little bit. You're just using all senses
We're
out
just
here.
hearing it.
I know.
Yeah, I appreciate Troy Keigel knowing where the effects mic is for us.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take as much help as we can get up here. Believe it.
So Lots had a terrific season. 17 out of 45, 12 walks. It's an on-base percentage of .509. Bases full of Cowgirls. Factor, Edwards, and Tuck the runners. Up and into Lott. All started with 2 out, nobody on. Fly out, pop out, back-to-back singles followed by an 8-pitch walk. The freshman versus the freshman. That's inside. 2-0 to Lott.
I think this is the inning right here. If you're Oklahoma State, you really have a chance to take full control. Right now, Texas is down by 1 run and seems more doable against a pitcher like Kelly Maxwell. But if Oklahoma State is able to bust it open, you just really start to feel the momentum, not just of this game, but of the entire series start to pull their way. Surprising too, looking at the situationals, Kevin, Oklahoma State just batting .267 with the bases loaded, and you compare that to Texas's average with the bases loaded. Texas batting .444 with the bases loaded.
Two-1. Ground ball, second base. Good wait for it. Makes the play, and Oklahoma State leaves him loaded. We remain 1-0 in Austin. Oklahoma State's got the lead on Texas through 3.5 innings. We're joined by Cowgirl coach Kenny Gajewski, and more of the same we've come to know from Kelly Maxwell. Kenny, what has made her so effective in this particular afternoon?
She's really filling up the strike zone, and the ball looks like it's got some life on it. And you know, just watching the way they're attacking, it looks like it's got some real life. And when she's pounding the strike zone, she's pretty dang good.
Kenny, it seems like you guys are just right on the brink of really driving the ball. What mechanical adjustments do you want to start to see out of these swings?
You know, the biggest thing, I don't feel like it's mechanical. I feel like it's just us sticking with our plan. If you're looking in, then swing in. Don't swing away. And if you're looking away, then don't swing in. So we just got to get over that little hump. We're right there. We're hitting some balls hard. We're getting on base. We just got to finish, and we're working hard. These kids are working hard. It's frustrating, but it's a long year.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thanks.
I was going to thank him.
I know I wanted to.
I'm not even going to be here for game 2. Why can't I get to thank him?
I just wanted to slip it in there.
We're a team, you know. If one of us thanks him, we both thank him. Well, Kelly Maxwell back out there. No hits allowed through 3. Only runner to reach was Mia Scott. Only batter to reach, should say. Scott walked in the first and then was caught stealing on the next pitch. So Kelly Maxwell's only thrown 1 pitch with a Longhorn on base. Two 2-0 for Scott. Started all 48 for Texas this year. Expectations were high after the way she ended last season. Unanimous preseason All Big 12 pick. Safe to say she's lived up. 61 hits in 47 games. That leads the team. 22 walks. That leads the team. Getting on base about 47% of the time. There's a bunt right back to Maxwell, and 3 straight balls have been hit back to Kelly out of the circle.
You can just tell that Kelly Maxwell is so smooth in everything that she does. Her pitching mechanics, the way that she runs up to field a bunt, the way that she fields a ground ball, her throw to first. I mean, just smooth is just in her DNA. It's not easy to be a left-handed pitcher and field bunts and make that throw to first base. It's just not.
We talked to Kelly a little bit before the game yesterday, and smooth is in her DNA on the field, but also off it. I mean, she is quiet, thoughtful, but not somebody who's going to ever really show her emotions.
No.
Very, very straightforward person. Not a lot of up and down with Kelly Maxwell. You ask her, where does that come from? Mom or dad? Both my parents. It's just a pretty low-key family from what Kelly tells us. And she is a low-key assassin in the circle. Working on Vivi Martinez.
And really humble, too, for all her accolades and all the attention that she gets. You would never know having a conversation with her, never. But she's super competitive when she puts that uniform on and steps on the pitching rubber. It's go time.
Told us that when she got to Stillwater, Kenny, guys, she got the sense that maybe Kelly was too calm when she came in. She said, I think it helps our defense because they know that whether I'm on a high or a low, I'm going to have the same calm demeanor. Looking for another strikeout. She's got 4 today. Make it 5. Finally went down for a K as she gets Martinez.
And I think that we'll start to see this a second time through the order now. Is first time through, she went more up with her rise ball. Second time through, especially to these new hitters that haven't faced her, I think we're going to start to see her go more down. And that, again, is what makes her so tough. She can throw that rise ball in multiple different quadrants, or all the different quadrants, but can also go down like that.
Another swing and miss, Leanne Good. Division I average 18%. That's when you swing. Not on all pitches. When you swing, you miss it 18% of the time. Against Kelly, it's 41. That is the best rate among qualified pitchers in the country.
And she got a lot of confidence with playing with Team USA last summer, too. And she'll play with the U.S. national team again this upcoming summer, too. Made the team. And we asked Coach John Barkfeld, the pitching coach over there for Oklahoma State, how often she decides to shake off. And he said not a lot, but it did seem like after playing with the U.S. national team this past summer, she shakes off a little bit more, has a better idea of what she wants to throw, how to set up hitters. I mean, that's the great opportunity is that you're facing the best of the world, but you're playing with the best in the world and being coached with the best in the world. Heather Tarr, the U.S. national team head coach, who's also the head coach at Washington. Tim Walton on that staff, as well as Tony Baldwin, who are the head coaches at Florida and Georgia.
Two and two for Good. John told us that when Kelly shakes off now, it's with a little more confidence too, which is a scary thought because a year ago, 17 double-digit strikeout games, second in the nation strikeouts per 7. Our strikeout per 7 numbers are slightly up this year. This ball's in the air to right, and Good flies out to Carwile. A no-hitter intact through 4 for the All-American Kelly Maxwell.
Was built to help students thrive in an ever-changing media landscape. One is the Drag.
I offer students the best college job they could possibly find because they get to come here, make podcasts. We have, at any one time, somewhere between 10 and 15 student employees working for us that get paid for it on a flexible schedule with some of the coolest people on campus. Yeah, it's the dream.
This is something that is being produced for the people, and people will listen.
We have students who are going to build things that are going to be heard by countless people that are going to propel their careers. And I think this sets them up for success.
Game 2. A run in regulation. Third inning, Caitlin Carwile Drove in Talon Edwards with 2 outs, and I think this game means something. It may not be May yet, but it is an imperative afternoon for Oklahoma State to win 1, try to get 2. Third-ranked team in the country. They've lost their last 3. They lead 1-0 now behind a no-hitter through 4 from Kelly Maxwell, and Carwile moved into the number 2 spot, making her Coach Kenny Gajewski's decision look real smart. Kevin Brown, Amanda Scarborough, our entire LHN crew on this Saturday afternoon. Game 2 to follow, 3 Central. Oklahoma State and Texas meeting for the only time in the regular season. That doesn't mean it'll be the only time they meet. Played at the Big 12 tournament the last couple of years. They've met in the NCAA tournament the last 2 years. Super Regionals in Stillwater, 2021. World Series in OKC in 2022. Becker, left center field. Scott trips back to make the catch.
It's a good swing right there. Again, one of the best swings that we've seen this weekend between both these teams. And for Oklahoma State, I'm talking about driving the ball. That's a good looking approach right there. It's barreling it up.
So Becker does have a walk, but she's 0 for 2, and that 21 game hit streak in the balance. Here's Carwile against Citlali Gutierrez. Caitlin Carwile committed to Oklahoma State at age 13. 6 years, 4 months after her initial commitment, she was playing in the World Series for them. Long time to hold a commitment, but Oklahoma native out of Purcell. She had faith in the program. They had faith in her. It took a little bit of time. Only 11 at-bats as a freshman, but eventually made her way into the starting lineup last year. Became an invaluable part of the team.
Yeah, once she got in, she wasn't coming out. That was for sure. Made her presence known. Always had quality at bats, and what a good decision by Kenny Gajewski to move her to the 2 spot, and seeing that decision pay off early in this game.
Four-pitch walk. Carlisle has reached twice for the 2nd straight game. There's 3 walks for Gutierrez, who gets a visit from her catcher again. I enjoy the synchronized dugout cheer right now from Oklahoma State.
Little freshman battery right there with Gutierrez and Atwood talking to each other. Atwood taking the initiative back behind the plate, called timeout. You'll see her do that a good amount. In fact, I feel like Texas loves to use those mid-inning timeouts. They call quite a few.
So here's Naomi.
I'd really like to work her hard in. Both pitchers that she's faced, I mean, Texas has some hard throwers because Citlali threw that 68 inside. Mac Morgan was hitting 70, 71 yesterday. When working her hard inside on her hands.
Naomi 1 for 6 in the series.
You see her take that inside pitch, right, and then swing at the outside pitch. And that's what Kenny Gajewski was talking about, that let's stick with our plan. If your plan is to go up and look for the outside pitch, cool, stick with it. Look like, make your swing look like, make your timing, everything about that look like you're going for the outside pitch, but kind of defensive swing on that 0-1 pitch outside put you in a bind.
Struck out on an 0-2 pitch last time. That one got through the legs of Atwood. So Carwile motors to second. Wild pitch means a base hit could double Oklahoma State's lead. With their RBI leader at the plate.
Off-speed curveball just creates so many foul balls off the end of the bat. It's another one right there.
She's batted often this year with runners in scoring position. 24 of her 53 hits have come in these situations. Trying to double Oklahoma State's lead in the 5th. Game 2 of 3. And Naomi pulls it down the line and out of the reach of Popelka.
We show those numbers with runners in scoring position for Naomi at batting .393. Last year, she batted .172 with runners in scoring position. Such a big uptick in power and consistency in her batting average with runners in scoring position. That's why she's sitting right there in the 3-hole for a reason.
I feel like for most of the year, she's been much better not chasing pitches. Went outside here and fouled off another. No one warming right now in the Texas bullpen. 7 pitch coming, Gutierrez to Naomi. And it's not close.
I want to see her throw that off-speed curveball again. She got her the last at bat on that pitch, but it didn't just break away from her. It had some tail down to it too. It got her to swing out of her, expand her strike zone and swing out of the strike zone at it.
Eighth pitch.
Go hard up and in. Or in that pitch out, but maybe that pitch is the pitch that sets up this off-speed curveball that she should throw.
Naomi's fouled off 5 pitches in this sequence. Will Gutierrez go back off speed?
A good pitch to hit right there.
Pitch number 10. Carwile at second, 1 out, 1-0 Oklahoma State. This at bat has taken an almighty long time.
So many foul balls, 7 now.
The All-American candidate Naomi pops it up. Corona in the sun again. Again, she didn't really see it, though. She didn't seem to have a play this time, but she has struggled a couple of times now with pop-ups in foul territory.
She went to that off-speed curveball too. Dropped it to 58, got her out in front, easy pop-up. I don't know if she would have been able to catch that because it looked like up against the net in the dugout. Man,
what do you throw here?
I'd throw it again. Move it a little bit lower in the zone and away. I'm convinced that that pitch would work. That's it right there. Just barely got a piece. I mean, honestly, I would go to it again. She is not timed up with that pitch at all. You have a pitch to work with here.
Last night, Oklahoma State saw 4.5 pitches per at-bat, and again, they're working awfully deep counts. This is going to be the 13th pitch. This is a Lawrence of Arabia-sized at-bat right now. Naomi, fair ball, right back to the circle, and Gutierrez wins the battle. A baker's dozen worth of pitches, and Gutierrez finally gets Naomi as Carwile takes third.
If you're wondering on the year how many pitches Oklahoma State sees per at bat, it's 3.91.
I was wondering.
Just as a comparison. I looked that up yesterday. It's not on my screen here, but it's in the back of my mind always.
I don't know how much data is stored in the back of your mind.
It's here just for the game, and then I forget it.
Yeah. Selective memory. Here's Wynn. Strike one. Morgan Wynn ground out to second, fly out to right. Timing hasn't been right this series yet. And there's a ground ball pulled to short. Martinez throws her out. Gutierrez escapes it. Middle of the Texas order coming up in a 1-0 game.
Hi.
This is the home. This is the home. This is the home of college softball.
And the home of the softball selection special, ESPN2. We're just 22 days away from revealing the field of 64. Going to see at least 3 of these players in it. Arizona's a little bubbly, but these are some of your Freshman of the Year candidates with a couple of weeks.
Yeah, all 4 of these players should make top 10 Freshman of the Year. That Freshman of the Year list, but all these are hitters. Just wanted to focus on the hitters for this one. Several good freshman pitchers too, but UCLA with Megan Grant and Jordan Woolray, those two combining and leading the team in RBIs and a bunch of different offensive categories. Monster years over in the pack.
Saw Vivi Martinez on that graphic too. Number 2 hitter for Texas today, which is hitless against Kelly Maxwell. 1-1 Reese Atwood. You could build about half of the all-freshman team in the Big 12 out of Texas players. Martinez, Good, Atwood, Maloney, Gutierrez. Young group ranked 7th, 37-9 in that one pesky tie early in the year.
And the way that Reese Atwood has been hitting these last 5 games and hitting in conference play, I mean, she's stepped up too. It's so hard to just pick one of the freshmen off of this team because all of them have just stepped up tremendously.
Atwood 7 straight games with an RBI coming into today. That's tied for the Texas record. Mary Iacopo, Lindsey Stevens, Kathy Johnson, the other 3 driving a run in 7 straight. And Burnt Orange. Not going to drive in a run here though. Atwood strikes out, and that's 6 for Kelly Maxwell.
Yeah, she started her outside and didn't get that first pitch strike, but worked herself back into the count. With a rise ball on the outside corner, changed speeds here to get the second strike, and then she was able to work from ahead as Atwood would then go on to be defensive and get out on that off-speed drop down in the zone. On the season, remember the whiff rate for Kelly, 41%. Today, a 61% swing and miss rate against her.
I feel like Kelly Maxwell will be in better shape going into the postseason because Oklahoma State's been able to limit her innings this year.
Yeah, I like how Coach Gajewski talked about it, just focusing on the long-term health of this program. Like, we're not going to overthrow Kelly. We have a deep pitching staff. We're not going to panic because we're not playing our best right now this past week. We're going to stick with what we've been doing, and that's relying on a complete pitching staff. And they're lucky that they have Kyra Aycock and Ivy Rosenberry. And of course, who we saw through last night, Lexi Kilfoyle, to help support around Kelly Maxwell.
You don't have to sit around and be cantankerous when Kelly Maxwell's not in the circle. There's depth here that Oklahoma State's built, and it's sustained them to a 39-6 record. Strikeout number 7 as Day goes down. Last year, Kelly Maxwell threw 189 2/3 innings. Into the weekend, she was at 98. These are the All-American pitchers from last year that returned this season, and the percentage of their team's innings they've thrown, and Kelly Maxwell at 30% has thrown a smaller percentage than any other returning All-American. Now that's a specifically selective list, but you look at the 9 pitchers that were All-Americans last year and returned, most of them are used very heavily. Oklahoma State's used Maxwell comparatively less than anybody else has.
Another on that list, too, who is an All-American years past is Ashley Rogers of Tennessee, and a deep pitching staff that they have with Carlin Pickens, a freshman, and Peyton Gottschall, the transfer. But you're seeing that start to happen more often, that coaches are relying on a deeper pitching staff and going to more arms. But you're also seeing a pitcher like Montana Fouts still get the ball more often than not.
Another swing and a miss on Katie Simmons. Maxwell struck out Atwood, Day, and Simmons in succession in the second. And she does it again in the 5th.
The first one was the only strikeout in this game, not on a rise ball when she got Atwood. Then she went to the rise for the second and third strikeout. Second time in this game, Maxwell struck out the side.
The University of Texas Golf Club, your home in the Hill Country. It's a member experience as
weekends to go until the selection show. Oklahoma State trying to even the series with Texas. Here's what happened last night around the country. Oklahoma's only loss of the season to Baylor. Revenge-minded Sooners win at 7-zip. Jordy Ball with 10 strikeouts. Florida State with another series win in the ACC on the road in Blacksburg. Amanda, avert your eyes. Ole Miss upsetting number 24 A&M Ainsley Furbush with a walk-off winner.
Yeah, that one being played in Oxford, of course, so that was a walk-off for Ole Miss. But one game that didn't get played last night was Auburn, Alabama. They had 4,000 fans at that game and had to postpone it to today, so they'll play a doubleheader. Last night was Montana Fouts senior night, too, so that will also get pushed today. There's Montana Fouts bobblehead. Expecting major crowds today and tomorrow.
Very cool-looking bobblehead. Our friend and colleague Danielle Laurie FaceTimed me after the game. She's like, I got to show you this Montana Fouts bobblehead. It's very cool bobblehead. Danielle Courtney Lyle will be on the call for those games.
It should be a good one, too. Maddie Penta for Auburn and Montana Fouts for Alabama. So really good pitching matchup. Maddie Penta has stepped up big time for Auburn this year, and this is not, I wouldn't say transformed, she's always been solid, but has really developed this year and emerged as their ace and one of the best pitchers in the SEC with Montana Fouts.
Auburn's another one of those teams, and there are a lot of them across the country that will be unseeded, that can upset a seeded team in the regional with their great pitching. Could ride Maddie Penta all the way to the supers. Citlali Gutierrez to Michaela Wart leading off the 6th, ball 1. Another team that will be a really good 2 seed, just ask Oklahoma State, is Wichita State, who has beaten Oklahoma State twice this year, including on Tuesday.
And they'll play Oklahoma, I believe, this upcoming week, too. So, I mean, don't count the Shockers out to potentially grab maybe the top 16 seed. Give them a chance in that game against Oklahoma. If they get a win there, now you're really talking about potential top 16 seed. can happen. They feel like right now they can beat anybody. They're playing really well.
Six pitch to Wark leading off the 6th inning. Atwood tried to steal this one.
Just missing the bottom of the zone, just a little bit low. I like how Mike White has stuck with Citlali Gutierrez, throwing deep into this game now. Got herself into a little trouble and back-to-back innings with runners in scoring position, actually 3 in a row. But showing a lot of confidence there in her to stay in this game.
Options for the second game of the doubleheader later. Estelle Check, Sophia Simpson certainly available. You mentioned Wichita State. There are some mid-majors that would not be a surprise to make regionals. Louisiana looks like a team that will host with a great RPI. Backhanded at short, Martinez.
Yeah, and Central Arkansas beat Arkansas twice this year. They played a home and away with them, just like Wichita State played a home and away with Oklahoma State and beat Oklahoma State twice. UCF, of course, grabbed a top 16 seed last season, bringing that momentum into this season. Not looking like they're going to grab a top 16 seed, but a team that has a lot of experience now in the postseason and always play a tough schedule. And Grand Canyon, Shannon Hayes is their head coach, who used to coach in the Big 12 at Texas Tech. Put together a good coaching staff there and has won a lot of games. Done a good job with that program since he took over.
Texas, tell you about Louisiana, beat them twice in Austin. Good Cajuns team. There's a pop-up from Factor. It will be Corona, who you may now notice is wearing sunglasses.
And a visor, too. Was she wearing a visor before?
She was wearing a visor.
Okay.
Maybe it's a stronger visor. I don't know. So 101 pitches for Citlali Gutierrez.
One more mid-major team who just beat Alabama this past week is Liberty, sitting at a 32 RPI right now. Their head coach, Dot Richardson, an Olympic softball player who was on that 96 team. And then Charlotte, too, a 34 RPI. All these teams, mid-majors, really strong this year. So much parity all across the country. And everybody's seeing it with the exception of Oklahoma, really. Just one loss on their season.
Are we going to get that James Madison type run from somebody this year that we had 2 seasons ago? Last year there were 3 unseeded teams in the World Series, but they were all power conference teams. Texas, of course, Oregon State, Arizona out of the Pac-12. Record for unseeded teams. Feels like that's possible again this year with the parity in the landscape. That's off the glove of the third baseman, Corona, and the freshman Talon Edwards has herself a 3-for-3 day.
I have a feeling we're going to see her move on up in the order for game 2 of our doubleheader. Been using the left side of the field, getting pitched outside, and just gets her barrel to that pitch. I mean, this is a good distance away from her body, but makes solid contact with it to get it over Corona's head. A line drive down the line. Talon Edwards with a 2-out hit.
Edwards now 4 for 6 in the series. Puts the bat in the hands of Taylor Tuck. A 1-0 Texas win in game 1. 1-0 Oklahoma State lead in game 2.
Yeah, we kind of expected this series to play out this way. I mean, just 2 teams that always play close games and go back and forth and have just so much history together. It's been fun to watch these two teams match up against each other these past several years.
Two 2-0 for Tuck, who walked her last time. Whoa.
Yeah, it's going to be a timing violation. 5 seconds is what he said, because she did put her hands together and was waiting for the signal to come in, but Reese Atwood signaled to Mike White in the dugout to give it to me again, and things just took a while. So that's going to be a ball on the batter, a 3-0 count. Fans don't like it. And then she's going to get that strike call that didn't quite look like a strike, but gets her back in the count.
It's a pitch they've been wanting all afternoon. Reese Atwood's tried to frame time and again, and somehow got the call on 3-0. So 3-1 to Tuck. And now 3-2 to Tuck.
Not a lot of swing and misses for Sitlali in this game, but Mike White's done a good job of mixing pitches, going up, going down, changing speeds a bit, keeping these hitters off balance, and not a lot of hard contact off of her going deep into this game against a good hitting team.
Not a lot of swings and misses in the series, but they've only given up 1 run. Tuck goes the other way, left center field. That's a gapper. That's going to be the first extra base hit of the series, and it scores Edwards to make it 2-0. Taylor Tuck, statistically one of the worst bats in the lineup, with one of the biggest hits of the weekend.
That pitch was over the heart of the plate. Taylor Tuck was right on top of the plate too, about belt high. Just that ball continued to carry, the deepest hit ball that we've seen in 2 games, undoubtedly. And Talon Edwards is going to score again. She continues to get on base and score runs for this team. Taylor Tuck in conference play coming in this game, hitting just .087, gets an RBI.
That's the first extra base hit of the series for either team. The 104th plate appearance of the series. And Mike White's going to go to the circle after ball 1. Well, Taylor Tuck may not be a big hitter offensively, though she does come up with big hits. But she is such a valuable player to this program. And Kenny Gajewski told us it is a story we'll tell here forever. A Stillwater kid, had strong interest from Michigan State. Kenny Gajewski didn't think she was quite ready to make an impact at a major college level. She'll come out for a pinch runner here. But he felt like there was something there. It was really close to the Tuck family. He said he sat down to talk with her parents with sweaty palms because he knew she had a full ride to Michigan State, and he said, I can't go there right now, but I want her badly, and I think at some point your daughter's going to play here. And at some point has come the last couple of years with her leadership, her work behind the plate. There's a ground ball to second from Bloodworth. The inning's over, but Tuck doubles the lead for Oklahoma State. 2-0 as Kelly Maxwell looks to continue her no-hitter when we return.
One of the toughest pitchers to hit against in the country is the lefty Kelly Maxwell, doing her thing on this beautiful day today in Texas. 8 strikeouts, being able to mix her rise ball mostly to get strikeouts, get a couple on that drop ball low in the zone, but just eating up right-handed and left-handed hitters alike, has not given up a hit. A really young Texas team, most of them facing Kelly for the first time.
And the second straight day where Texas has no hit into the 6th. Yesterday they didn't get a hit till the 7th. against Lexi Kilfoyle. Kelly Maxwell 6 outs away from her 6th career no-hitter. Face 7, 8, 9 here. Maloney, Corona, and Popelka, the scheduled hitters. "19 whiffs in 5 innings for Kelly Maxwell today. Whiff rate around 60%. 8 strikeouts.
Yeah, and if you ask Kenny Gajewski, you know, how do you know when Kelly Maxwell is on? I mean, he goes straight to that swing and miss. I know when she's on, when that swing and miss number is high. I'm seeing her pitches, miss barrels. She has the ability to do it on a few different pitches, too. Hasn't had to mix speeds a lot, kept her pitch count relatively low, just 69 pitches into the 6th inning.
Kelly needed a new ball there.
Oh, come on.
A lot of quick at-bats for Texas in this series. Kilfoyle yesterday had 59 pitches through 5 innings. Maxwell came in at 67. There's a bunt shown on ball 2 for Maloney. Maloney grounded out to short in the 3rd. A leadoff walk for Scott. She was caught stealing, and Maxwell has retired every hitter since then. Slapped out of play, 2-2. Kelly Maxwell coming off her first loss of the season Sunday, though she didn't pitch poorly. 4 innings, 1 run against Iowa State. Only her 2nd start in the last 9 Oklahoma State games. And a ground ball right back to Kelly. She continues to field her position beautifully.
I truly believe the only way that that's not a hit is her stopping it. Kylie Naomi was breaking toward the middle of the field, but Kelly Maxwell is just on top of it, reads the ball off of the bat very well, and reacts after she releases that ball. But I think if she doesn't make that play, that gets right up the middle.
It's her 4th defensive assist in the game. You want to throw a no-hitter, it's been a real DIY kind of performance. This is into short center. Factor comes on with a late break.
That ball hung in the air just long enough for her to get there. She had to come a long way. She was playing pretty deep, but that ball was hit pretty high. And notice, too, the wind is blowing out just a touch to bring it toward Cheyenne Factor and give her enough chance to get there. She was running hard. Everybody on that team knows what's at stake right now. They can see the scoreboard. They're going to go all out to make defensive plays.
So the fly out for Camille Corona. And here's the 9-hitter, Popelka. Popelka pops up a bunt foul. Alyssa Popelka grounded out back to Maxwell, her first time. Getting the start today for Lou Gilbert, the only new player in the lineup for Texas. 1-1 to Popelka. It's a Texas team scoring around 6.5 runs per game. Today they have just a single walk. Another bunt shown. Another ball taken.
I'm going to go after Popelka here and make her put the ball in play, let your defense work. You have Mia Scott on deck, who sees the ball, or seems to see the ball better than most off of Kelly Maxwell. Top of the lineup on deck for Texas.
Got a low strike, 2-2. Maxwell looking to set down her 17th consecutive hitter. And a little dribbler foul will keep it alive.
You know, one of the things that makes Kelly Maxwell so good, and you asked me this earlier, of how does she make her pitches so good, such good spin and movement, is it just she has some of the best mechanics in the country. She's really smooth, uses every inch of her body, every pound of her body to get that spin out of every pitch. Not going to overpower you with speed, but more about spin and movement.
Strike 3, and Maxwell will head to the 7th inning with the no-hit bid intact on the back of her 9th strikeout.
She took a little bit off of this one. Good at bats in the bottom of the 6th for Texas, but Kelly gets another strikeout. She's got 9.
Oklahoma State snapped the shutout streak in the 3rd inning. Taylor Edwards a leadoff single, and Caitlin Carwile would bring in the freshman Edwards for the first run. And Edwards would set the table again in the 6th. 2-out single, followed by this from Taylor Tuck. The first extra base hit for anybody in the series in a 104th plate appearance of this Oklahoma State-Texas series. 2 runs for the Cowgirls, who still only scored 5 in their last 4 games. They're trying to break a 3-game losing streak here and even this series up in Austin. They'll try to do so against a new pitcher. Sophia Simpson is on to face Becker, Carwile, and Naomi. Top of the OSU lineup. And Simpson with a ground ball to start.
I like to use her a lot in relief. A lot of confidence with her to come in late in the game, and she'll like to mix that changeup. She'll throw her changeup on any pitch, or any count, I should say.
And once again, Rachel Becker heads to her final at-bat with a streak in some danger. She's already reached base with a walk, so 46 games in a row on base, but her 21-game hit streak has yet to be extended.
Maybe she's just a procrastinator and likes to wait until late in the game like she did yesterday, you know?
Who among us cannot relate to that?
Exactly.
Purdue transfer. The at-bats were a lot longer yesterday. 28 pitches in her 4 plate appearances yesterday. Becker slowly hit ground ball, and the hit streak may well be over for Rachel Becker.
Gets her out in front of that changeup. Sophia Simpson will actually throw a knuckle changeup. So if you make your hand in the shape of like the I love you, that's how she holds the I love you, hand sign. That's how she holds her changeup. And her mom actually taught her that pitch.
Did you just refer to the hand signal that could also be the hook 'em horn signal as the I love you signal?
Okay, no, that because you need your thumb. That's the I love you. Without the thumb is the hook 'em.
Okay.
So I did think about hook 'em, and then I thought to myself, no, that's not right, because you kind of need that finger to hold the ball.
I see. That's a wonderful descriptor. Thank you for that.
Oh man.
She does love that changeup.
She loves it.
It
so
is an I
fitting.
love you changeup, truly.
It is right there. She throws it very well.
Her mom, Susan, held the single-season strikeout record at Southeast Louisiana. Dad Corey played in the Braves minors for 4 years, so there's a great athletic background for Sophia. Got a strike with it there to Carwile, who has the first of Oklahoma State's 2 RBIs in the game.
Hey, think about the pitching strategy. It really comes into play for a day like this with playing a doubleheader. In fact, Don't think that both teams wanted to play a doubleheader, but they're somewhat forced to with the weather that is coming in tomorrow. Baseball playing a doubleheader too across the street against Oklahoma, so not ideal. Gotta make it work.
Before we go any further, we should, by the way, say Citlali Gutierrez is very good today. 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned, walked 3, struck out 2. So true freshman who's still throwing, Gutierrez.
It's Molly Jacobson, former Texas pitcher there in the bullpen, who will help them in there. And Mac Morgan also, who threw that game last night, threw very well, got the win.
Gutierrez now thrown in 27 1/3 innings in Big 12 play. He's given up no more than 2 earned in any conference game. Pitch well today. Kelly Maxwell's just been better with a no-hitter through 6 for Oklahoma State. And Carwile down swinging. Sharp start to the 7th for Sophia Simpson.
Yeah, it looked like a screwball here on the outside corner. Moves away from Carwile, outside corner, about a ball off. Reese Atwood, catcher that it seems like these pitchers love to throw to.
Third strikeout for Texas pitching. Here's Naomi. The 3 strikeouts have come against Oklahoma State's top 3 hitters. Buckle up for a little while here just in case, because Kylie had a 13 pitch at bat in the 5th. Ended with a ground out. If you were a pitcher and you had a no-hitter through 6, did you want your offense to have a long top of the 7th inning?
Yeah, that's a big fat negative. Wanted to get back out there and just finish it. I mean, at this, I just wanted the lead going to the 7th, right? I didn't care if that was a 1-run lead, 2-run lead. Like, I just wanted to get back out there and stay in my groove.
Kylie lays down a bunt. She's just being a good teammate because she's going to get Kelly Maxwell back to the circle. Looking for her first no-hitter in 13 months. 3 outs to go against the top of the Texas lineup. About an hour and 50 minutes ago, Kelly Maxwell walked a batter. That batter was Mia Scott. She was caught stealing at second on the next pitch. And from that moment on, Kelly Maxwell has been untouched. 9 strikeouts and 6 no-hit innings, continuing what's been a tremendous career against Texas. Maybe with a little bit of revenge on her mind. The last time Kelly Maxwell pitched against Texas, she gave up 6 runs between the 4th and 5th innings at the World Series in a winner-take-all semifinal game, as Texas came back for a 6-5 win. 3 outs from a no-hitter, and she's going to face the toughest part of the Texas lineup to try and do it. Mia Scott, Vivi Martinez, and Leanne Good. And if anybody gets on, it would be Reese Atwood with a walk-off hit in the last 2 Texas games. Scott, right center field, and that ends the no-hitter. Mia Scott, who had the only walk of the game, now with the only hit for Texas, which will bring the tying run to the plate.
She just seems to see the ball really well off of Kelly Maxwell and gets a pitch that she can handle up and in, about belt high, looking for that side of the plate just to get her barrel to that pitch, stay above the ball. I just said to our producer, Seth, I said, if anybody's going to break it, it's Mia Scott. And boom, first thing this inning, she does.
And here's Martinez with nobody out. Martinez with a pop-up. And Naomi will flag that in the sun for a quick first out. So the no-hit bid is over for Kelly Maxwell, who was searching for her first no-hitter since March 25th last year against Texas Tech. She won't get that. She can still pick up a shutout. Good. Off the end of the bat, and it's off the glove of Becker. Scott gets to third. She'll hold right there. A ground ball with a little bit of English. And all of a sudden, here come the horns.
It's just about putting the ball in play. When you do that, good things happen. And Kelly Maxwell, because she's a left-handed pitcher, has to reach across her body for that more toward her backhand. And she's such a good fielding pitcher, too. You know she wants that one back just off of her glove. Texas now trying to end this shutout, trying to win a game.
For the second straight game, Texas came into the 7th inning without a hit. And for the second straight game against Oklahoma State and the 3rd overall, Reese Atwood can walk it off. A home run would win it for Texas. That's outside to Atwood for ball 1. Walk-off singles against Kansas Sunday and Oklahoma State yesterday. In a series where Texas does not have an extra base hit. That's ball 2 from Maxwell to Atwood. My, oh my. Atwood in the air, left field. Reese Atwood, your hero again. In a row with a walk-off hit, and Texas, as they did in the World Series last year, storms back, having been left for dead against Kelly Maxwell. Are you serious, Reese Atwood?
I have goosebumps all over my body. Reese Atwood, she got her swing off. That is a confident swing, on time, looking for something up, and she knew it. I feel like she knew it as soon as she saw the pitch out of the hand and decided that she was going to swing, that she was going to go all in. A home run for Reese Atwood. What an incredible inning for Texas and Reese Atwood. You just don't see this very often. 3 back-to-back walk-off wins, period. Nevertheless, it be by the same hitter who wins the game, and it being a freshman to step up.
That, by the way, just as a footnote, makes Reese Atwood the first player in Texas softball history to drive in a run in 8 consecutive games. We're old enough to remember when Texas was being no-hit with 3 outs to go.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this Texas program has Oklahoma State's number, and late in games, they have Kelly Maxwell's number. And this rivalry, in the 2 games last year and the first 2 here, psychologically has been flipped completely on its head.
only 2 innings in this game that Kelly Maxwell didn't have a strikeout. The third, and now the bottom of the 7th, when again Mia Scott is the spark, the leadoff hitter for Texas, got them going, broke the no-hitter up, and Texas didn't look back from there.
(3-2) the final in game 2. It's back-to-back walk-off wins in this series for Texas. It's 3 walk-off wins in a row. And Reese Atwood the walk-off hit in all 3 of those games. And we are joined by Reese right now. Reese, are you serious right now?
It's pretty crazy.
3 straight games with a walk-off hit. Take us through this one. What are you looking for in that 2-0 pitch?
I was looking for that pitch that she was throwing right over that I missed my couple of bats before, and then I got it, and I was able to get on time with it and take it out.
Reese, what was the vibe like in the dugout, going to the bottom of the 7th inning, down 2 runs against one of the best pitchers in the country? What did it feel like still in the dugout?
The energy was still up. We actually had more energy than we had in the entire game, and I knew with Mia leading off that we could just pull this win off for our team.
Reese, what makes you so good in these clutch situations?
I just like to sit there and relax and take out the situation itself, just like I had done batting practice all week, just be able to pull through for my team.
Reese, you guys have another one after this for game 2 of the doubleheader. How do you get everybody back calmed down and ready for that next game?
Just to do what we did today, just come out and play hard.
All right, Reese, so 3 walk-off hits in a row for you now. You ever had 3 straight walk-off hits in your life at any level?
I don't think I've ever had any walk-offs before last week against Kansas.
You don't think you had a single walk-off and now you've had 3 in a row? Not in Little League, not in high school, nothing?
I don't remember. I'm not sure.
Amazing job.
That's crazy. You won't forget these ones, I don't think.
No, sir, I won't.
What changed in that 7th inning for you guys, having not picked up a hit through 6? What was different about the at-bats in the 7th?
Just to work for our pitchers. Sid Lawley came in, she threw a great game, and then with having the shutout inning in the 7th, I just knew that this team had to pull through for our pitchers who had played a great game.
Reese, congratulations on the win. Good luck in game 2.
Thank you.
No walk-off hits in her life. Come on now. That's Sunday. There's the first one. Who knew this was going to be a sign of things to come?
Yeah, won this series, by the way, against Kansas because they had lost a game in that series. So they needed that series win. And then last night against Lexi Kilfoyle in extras, she did it again. And this one, I think, might be the most memorable one.
A 3-run home run in an inning where Texas came in without a hit. They win the game, and now Oklahoma State has lost 4 straight. Oklahoma State has scored 5 runs in those 4 games, and Oklahoma State is going to have to get through some mental blocks here. Going to have to figure out how to get better at bats. 3-2 Texas. We'll look ahead to game 2 when we return to Austin. That's a final in game 1 of this doubleheader. 3-2 Texas, 3 hits. They all came in the 7th inning. Reese Atwood, 3 is the number. 3 runs, 3 hits, 3 straight games with a walk-off for Reese Atwood. Think about this from Oklahoma State's perspective. 2 games in a row, an Oklahoma State pitcher has taken a no-hitter into the 7th. 2 games in a row, Texas has stormed back to win.
It just has to feel like a complete gut punch if you're Oklahoma State, because you came in not playing your best ball, but in the series they have pitched good enough to win. It's just their hitting that continues to let them down and not score a ton of runs. The past, 6 games that they've played now have all been low scoring and close games. Their offense just not being able to pull away.
In his 4-game losing streak now for Oklahoma State, they've scored a total of 5 runs. Better at bats today, but still not good enough with runners on base. And for Texas, nothing doing through 6 innings. Kelly Maxwell about as dominant as we've seen Kelly Maxwell. She struck out 9 in 6 innings. But Mia Scott, you felt like she had the best at-bats of the game, a walk, a good bunt attempt, and she gets the first hit to set the table in the 7th.
Yeah, she did. To me, I just kind of had a feeling in my stomach about it that she was going to be the one that got on for Texas, because she just seems to see the ball really well. She loves those big moments. But this young Texas team has played in a lot of close games, and not all the results early on in the season have gone their way. And lately, starting to show some fight late in the game and win some of these 1-run games.
8-6 now in 1-run games this season. We'll take a look at the highlights from this one as Texas clinches the series win. Oklahoma State did get on the board first Mike White, Kenny Gajewski changing pleasantries before the game. And it was Kaylin Carwile. Kenny Gajewski moved her to the 2 spot, and that was one of the bright spots for Oklahoma State today as she brought in Talon Edwards for Oklahoma State's first run of the series, and then Edwards would score the second on this double from Taylor Tuck.
Yeah, Taylor Tuck with the big swing, only extra base hit up to that point in the series, and would score Talon Edwards. Talon Edwards had a great game for Oklahoma State, and they were playing with a lot of emotion. Gave the ball to Kelly Maxwell to start game 1 of this doubleheader, and she was looking like herself, the All-American lefty, using that rise ball and drop ball. Took a no-hitter, as we mentioned, into the 7th inning. She looked untouchable, and then Mia Scott broke it all open whenever she led off the top of the 7th with a hit.
And then with 2 on this 2-0 pitch, Reese Atwood, bat flip, projected 263-foot home run to win it for the Longhorns. Maxwell only goes 6 1/3 after going 6 no hit. Edwards 3 for 3. Oklahoma State leaves another 7 on base. And Silali Gutierrez, a very good performance. Sophia Simpson pitched a 1-2-3 7th to keep it at 2-0. And then Atwood with a walk-off 3-run home run. That's a special kid, Reese Atwood. She breaks the Texas record, which was held by 3 other players. 8 consecutive games now with an RBI. And Mia Scott, the sophomore, had the big at-bats. But once again for Texas, it's a freshman class that feels like they're juniors or seniors at this point.
I know. They played a tough schedule, and they're getting a lot of good experience in these close games, and it just seems like it's finally starting to pay off for them. I mean, a group that works really hard, and especially Reese Atwood, too. This is a player who made some mechanical swings to, or excuse me, mechanical adjustments to her swing, and from that moment on, she has just took off and come up with the big hits, too. So you know she has a mindset to catch her back behind the plate, a leader for this Texas team at a young age.
Texas softball winning the first 2 games. We have Texas baseball coming up, by the way. They've got a doubleheader against Oklahoma as well. Right across the street, 14th ranked Longhorns and the Sooners coming up next. Texas trying to get to 9-5 at Big 12 play here on Longhorn Network. We'll have the second game of this doubleheader a little bit later tonight for you. It is going to start here at 3 o'clock at McCombs Field. It's a big day for Texas sports. And there's Reese Atwood still hanging out. Told us that as far as she knew, she couldn't remember a single walk-off hit in her life at any level. And she's got 3 in a row now. So Texas is flying high. They've won the series. They've moved within a half game of Oklahoma State. Kenny Gajewski's team looked like one of the big contenders in the nation. They probably still are. But 4 losses in a row now. Where do they turn from here?
I think they have to turn maybe to Kyra Aycock in the circle, but are you going to try to win 1 game of the series with your number 3 pitcher? It's a really big debate. I'm sure that Kenny Gajewski is going and talking with his pitching coach with about who do we throw in game 3, because both of his number 1 and number 2 pitchers they've seen and got the loss.
And how do they hit whoever Texas is going to throw to? The at-bat quality still not great.
They had chances in this game with runners in scoring position and bases loaded and could not get the big hit still.
So game 2 coming up here at McCombs Field at 3. That'll be tape delayed later on the Longhorn Network. Baseball following us. Reese Atwood, your hero in game 2 as the Longhorns take the first 2 improbably.